involvement in the bombing. America cannot understand how anyone could have committed such a heartless and hideous act as the attack on the innocents in Oklahoma City. But as we learn more about the accused bomber, a terrifying motive starts to emerge, and it can be summed up in a single word: Waco.
They targeted the Oklahoma City Federal Building because it was the building that housed the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency. Those offices supplied the folks for the Waco operation. Additionally, they chose the anniversary date of the Waco incident so that in this action, they were not only making Waco as a symbol, but they were actually attempting to kill the people who conducted the Waco operation 2 years ago.
Russell Ballant has been following right-wing extremist organizations for a decade, and he believes there's no question about the connection to Waco. And now FBI documents obtained by hard copy may corroborate that theory and may provide a look into the mind of the accused bomber. It was on Good Friday, 5 days before the assault, when Timothy McVeigh first showed up at this Junction City, Kansas motel. Nothing seemed unusual.
He was very outgoing, smiled a lot, pleasant to talk to.
But according to this FBI document, McVeigh lied on the registration form. He listed his date of birth as April 19th, the same day as the fiery confrontation between David Koresh and government agents at the Branch Davidian compound in Waco. And he gave a phony Social Security number, a number that on any push-button telephone spells out Waco. A few days after he checked in, McVeigh mysteriously disappeared from the Dreamland Motel. Then,
we seen a rider truck. He came in with a rider truck. He backed it to the end of my building, which is not a very good spot to park a big truck.
The FBI now believes McVeigh used this motel room as a military staging area. This is where they believe he parked a rented truck loaded with deadly explosives. On Tuesday, the day before the bombing, he checked out at dawn. In the tiny town of Pendleton, New York, where McVeigh grew up, state troopers stand watch over his father's house, while a flag on the lawn flies at half-staff. Folks around here are shocked and concerned that somebody might retaliate against McVeigh's family.
They're just good people. I'm sure it's breaking their hearts, you know, if he's guilty, if the son is guilty.
Nothing here even hints at the trouble to come. His senior year portrait shows him as just another shaggy-haired teenager.
He was just a normal, average boy at the time. Very well liked, got along with everyone. As I said, I don't remember him ever getting into any kind of trouble.
And to high school friends like Walt Mateus, McVeigh's capture was a rude awakening.
It's a shock. It hit kind of close to home. It's somebody I knew. I never thought anybody I would know would be, faced with the death penalty.
But when he was in the Army, McVeigh apparently changed. He served in Desert Storm and at Fort Riley, just down the road from the Dreamland Motel. Somewhere along the way, he reportedly became good friends with Terry Nichols and got involved with a paramilitary organization called the Michigan Militia.
The goal of the Michigan Militia is to develop a military capability to eventually confront the American government and the military forces of the United States government.
A key figure in the Michigan Militia is this man, Mark Kornke, seen here in this amateur video at a militia meeting. Kornke has now apparently gone into hiding, but police believe he may be behind this fax to a Texas congressman. The fax says, among other things, building 7 to 10 floors, military people on scene. The last line reads, Oklahoma. But according to this militia watcher, McVeigh and Nichols were too radical even for the Michigan Militia.
They were also part of a group that wanted more militant confrontation. They were a faction that favored that, and eventually they were expelled from the Michigan Militia.
By Tuesday of last week, McVeigh was bivouacked on familiar turf at the motel not far from Fort Riley. He drove off in his rented Ryder truck, and the whole world knows what happened next. In the coming months, the government will try to prove in court that his destination was Oklahoma City and his motive was murder. Today, in this city ripped apart by tragedy, flags hang at half-mast, and rescuers continue to desperately search through the wreckage, hoping to find the many still missing, fearing the already staggering death toll will continue to rise.
One of the things that being here and listening to the people has taught me is that if we as a nation give in to the understandable feelings of rage and retribution, then, in a sense, the bombers have won. They have achieved their goal. Better by far to react as the people here in Oklahoma City have, with strength and quiet courage, with dignity and endless compassion, to demonstrate to those who would use terror and to the world the better angels of our nature. Terry?
Thanks, Barry. The deep sorrow felt for the victims is reflected by an intense quest to bring those responsible for the bombing to justice. Yesterday, President Clinton vowed again to seek the death penalty. Tonight, in a special phone poll, we want to know what you think. If convicted, should the bomber or bombers be executed? To vote yes, they should, dial 1-900-737-6611. To vote no, they should not, dial 1-900-737-6622. Each call costs 50 cents, and you must be 18 years or older to call. We'll repeat the numbers a little later. Now, the controversial new defense strategy in the Simpson case.